What's up, YouTube? Today we're going to be looking at a submission from Filu Dom, I believe is how you pronounce the name. If I'm wrong, if it's Filu, I don't know, just let me know. But they are looking at a classic line of Poison Double Dark, and among those darks is THIEVUL, a pretty new Pokemon to Pokemon Go. And this Pokemon has Sucker Punch plus Night Slash, which makes it really unique and honestly really strong. It's got about the same bulk as Malamar here that you have in the back, and then Clodsire has even more bulk to round out this team. Poison and Dark generally cover like the majority of each other's weaknesses really well. So yeah, that's the team building aspect. Without further ado, let's hop into some battles. So these battles were done at the like 2300 range. Tough lead in the first match. We've got a Lapras, so we get out into our THIEVUL, so I imagine that is our safe swap on this team, and unfortunately we are met with a Florges, which is a very unfortunate like counter swap here, but correct on the no shield here, barely survive, able to make it to a play rough, which is nice. And now we can just go for an aggressive Poison Sting farm down, because your opponent doesn't know that you don't have Stone Edge. So when you come out loaded with energy, this Lapras might actually respect this. So I'd go one more and throw the move. No, you're going to instantly switch actually, and it's Emolga in the back. Emolga is pretty glassy, so you are able to connect with the foul play. And it looks like if you wanted to, you could probably commit both shields and fully sidewave farm this down and grab both shields back. But they full send an acrobatics and they don't even make it to a discharge unless they were on like double nuke maybe. But either way, gonna go for the super power here. You could you go for another super power here, and you're probably gonna reset instantly. Yeah, and you have the sludge bomb banked. They might have forgotten how much energy you have on this Clodsire, so I like this play, and they do respect it. So now they have no shields remaining, so this game's already over. All you have to do is just save shields for your Malamar here, because they're going to be forced to throw energy. Yep, you just let this go, and they have no ability to sidewave farm you down because it's triple resisted on Malamar, and your opponent just realizes that, so they just let that go, and they resign the match. Okay, into the next match. Low kicks, so definitely going to stay in this lead. I would once again just farm up to the Stone Edge like you have it. Oh, absolutely perfect, but they do catch on Clodsire, which is pretty unfortunate. That is resisted. Just come in with your Malamar, and you are going to get to the foul play before they're even able to get to a charge move, which is nice. Foul play is neutral, does some decent chip, but it's really these Psy waves that are doing the majority of the damage in this matchup. You are going to correctly shield the Earthquake, which is nice because that means you can let any one charge move through, but you are going to throw a foul play to at least force either a shield or oh, and they just barely survive on 1 HP. That is unfortunate, but they are only going to connect with a Stone Edge. And now you come out low with energy, which does force your opponent to throw some energy, which is nice. And you have maintained alignment. They do correctly go for the Trailblaze there, but you are able to make it to another Sludge Bomb, but you're holding onto your energy. THIEVUL is really not going to have a good matchup there, especially when they're boosted, so I would start getting off these charge moves. You are nearly at the back-to-back, so going for the Sludge Bomb 1, here comes Sludge Bomb 2. They do not go for a catch, which is nice, but I imagine they're going to double shield because they're already double boosted. And yeah, they're planning to run away on this game with the low kicks here. And the issue here is if you don't shield, the Trailblaze is going to be way too much. X's are super effective. I think you're forced to go for a Night Slash. Yeah, no, I think that was a correct play. Otherwise, they were going to get to another move. They make a really nice catch on the Marowak. And to be honest, I don't see a way out of this game unless... Yeah, I honestly don't see a way out of this game because this is not enough to KO. Unless you, like, yeah, here comes a Bone Club. This will be enough to KO, even though it's the non-shadow, I imagine. No, it leaves you at 1 HP, but you're still not going to get that charge move off. Yeah, so unfortunately, you are going to lose that game. I don't think you played anything particularly wrong in that matchup. I think your opponent just played their win con really well. But into the next matchup, you've got a Blastoise on the lead, and you instantly get out into your THIEVUL. To be honest, I would overfarm. I would farm up a little bit in that matchup because it takes 4 rollouts to get to their first Hydro, and rollout is resisted on the Clodsire. So you could farm up and then try and catch on the THIEVUL, But you do successfully bait out a fairy, which is good because that's something your Malamar doesn't want to see. And you are able to actually force alignment in this matchup, it looks like, which is completely crazy. Unfortunately, Whimsicott just does not have the bulk that it would want. Looks like you were forced into an overtap there, so that I saw you try and go for good timing, but the game didn't let you, so that's unfortunate. But that means you can actually get to another Night Slash because your opponent is not throwing a charge move. They're going to be forced to throw it eventually because they're not going to get the full farm down. And they do finally. I think at that point they probably could have gone the full farm down, but they were already at 100 energy. Now you're aligning your Malamar. These Hydras will still hurt, and they're probably already at back-to-back. No, they're going to full send a Skull Bash instead. I think that's the wrong play. But they were going to make it to another Hydra, so throwing the foul play here just to get the knockout. Very nice counting. And it's a Sableye in the back. So going to get off this foul play as soon as you can. And I believe they have no shield, so this game's over because all you have to do is make it to one Earthquake. You just got to watch for a catch, but they did just recently switch out of that last matchup. So just watch for your catch. As long as they don't go for the catch and you see that Shadow Claw come through, then you will be in a good position. Here comes the second foul play. They're 5 away from the next one. You can overfarm here. They try and go for the catch as soon as you get to 100 energy, which is a nice catch attempt by your opponent, but you are able to get the farm down, leaving the Earthquake loaded, so you will win that matchup. Grumpig on the lead. Okay, tough lead. This time you're going to get out into Malamar, and they have a Wiggly in the back. I like the switch into Malamar because THIEVUL is kind of a hard answer. They definitely have an answer to a Dark type. And you are able to grab a shield in this matchup because Superpower is neutral against the Wiggly. And now that'll set you up for a really nice farm down. Unfortunately, they're probably just going to Icy Wind you. And if you don't want to take 2 super effective Icy Winds, you might be forced to throw some energy. So you are going to throw some energy on really good timing right before they make it to their next move. And now what are you going to do? You've grabbed a shield. Now time to come in with THIEVUL. Ooh, this alignment is just not in your favor. I don't really see a way out of this matchup unless you boost. I think that's kind of the only win con you have. No way. Oh my god. I really spoke that one into existence. Your opponent correctly goes for Psychic Fangs, understanding that now you're just definitely going to double shield your THIEVUL. I would shield this because you're still going to outpace the Grumpig does not have much energy. And if you can get a full farm down, you can probably still get to 2 Night Slashes before they're even able to make it to a charge move. So here comes the first Night Slash. This probably is enough to KO. They let that go because they're kind of forced to. And at this point, you're already at a second Night Slash, and your opponent is going to shield that out, but it's too little too late. In comes a Dynamic Punch. It'll be enough to KO, but they are in 1 Poison Sting range, which means this game is over. Incredible win con. Love it when you see THIEVUL boost. This thing can get absolutely out of hand. Dugong in the lead. Tough matchup. You're staying in. You have 2 better answers in the back. This is a pretty negative matchup just because their fast move is super effective. So you're going to take the Icy Wind and then instantly reset. That does mean you can get to a Night Slash before their next charge move, which is nice. They're unlikely to shield, and they're going to throw right away on alignment, get this debuff off. And now that's going to put you in a really tough position. But why did they even do that when they could have just come in with Annihilate and fully countered you down, shielded once? Very strange decision. Either way, that allows you to come in with your Malamar. You can let the first Rage Fist go, but then I would probably shield the second because these counters are really going to start to add up. But I would go for the full Sidewave farm down. So you're doing exactly that, shielding this up, getting the Sidewave farm down. What is that Pokemon in the back? No, they're not going to show us. They're going to back in with a Dugong. I would have gone Superpower here. They're unlikely to shield. It seems like they're trying to just get you to waste some energy. That's exactly what happens, and it's a Marowak in the back. And unfortunately, that third Mudslap is going to KO, and you're probably not even going to grab a shield here. Yeah, so this game's over. You just no longer have a win con. You're going to shield this up, but all they have to do is go for Bone Club Mudslap. They have 2 shields remaining. You're going for the Sludge Bomb. This is resisted damage. You might grab a shield, but it's too little too late. Unfortunate. Into the next match, we've got Clodsire into Jumpluff. Now, this is a good lead, so you're just going to stay in this matchup, and so is your opponent. That is interesting. I don't know how you run Jump Bluff and are core broken by a poison type, but maybe not the best team building from our opponent. They are on acrobatics, and they do go for a catch onto their Jellicent, and you have a fantastic response in THIEVUL. THIEVUL able to get to these Night Slashes in 5 Sucker Punches, and they do so much damage, and it gives you a potential to boost your attack. Like this combo is really strong. I honestly love playing with this Pokemon. I think it's so much fun. They do make it to a second surf, but I think you can live this. Yeah, you think so too. Just barely living in the red, which is nice. They're going to come back with the Jump Bluff. You're going to get some nice chip, but they did not grab a shield from you in the mid game, and you saved all of your energy on Clodsire. You banked all that energy, so you're just going to go for the Sludge Bomb right away. I don't think this is enough for an Acrobatics, so yeah, you're going to let this go. It is just the Aerial Ace. You're at back-to-back Sludge Bombs. Here comes one. Your opponent shields. Interesting. Here comes a second. Are they really going to double shield the Jump Bluff? They're still going to need an Acrobatics to KO, and you have shields remaining. They try and go for a catch, and they are successful. They get a Sludge Bomb catch onto their Licky Licky in the back. But guess what, opponent? We have Malamar. I like this play. Over farming, just get back up to that Sludge Bomb because you kind of need that energy. Letting the Body Slam go, I would have at least farmed up to the Sludge Bomb, but maybe not wanting to misalign the Switch Clocks any longer. I would shield this up. It's the only place you're really going to use shields in this matchup. And then I would just save the other shield for Clodsire in case you get one turn bring in. And you do get it off, so just let this go. They're in Sludge Bomb range. There's no point in shielding. You are going to shield either way, which is risky because I'm not sure who wins CMP, Jump Bluff or Clodsire. But I would imagine it's the Jump Bluff, so if they are able to KO here and leave with an Aerial Ace, this could potentially get hairy, but they're not able to get to the Acrobatics, so you are able to take that win. Credillia on the league. This is a pretty neutral matchup, assuming your opponent goes for Grass Knots. They come in with Golisopod. And yeah, you don't have a great response to Golisopod. Golisopod has good coverage into this whole team. Super effective X Scissors. I think THIEVUL is the right play. You resist the Shadow Claws, and these Sucker Punches are doing a lot more damage than their fast moves. I would let one go. You can probably live one super effective charge move. Not well, but you do, so that's pretty nice. And you are able to get the full farm down, come out with energy loaded, only going to make it to one move. Ooh, I would have gone for the play rough since you're only going to make it to one. If you're going to make it to 2 Night Slashes, that might be more damage, but maybe you just kind of panicked. But either way, they have a Feraligatr in the back, and now this is going to be really tough because they have a shield advantage. You get a little bit of lag spike, but they're definitely going to shield this, so it doesn't really matter. And yeah, what do you do here? I mean, you could shield back and try and grab that second shield, but I believe they can outpace, yeah. And a Shadow Hydro might KO from this range or put you basically at 1 HP. Yeah, it puts you at like 1. And that allows them to get a Shadow Claw farm down. Yeah, your Clodsire is not winning that, so you just resign the match. Pillow-Swine. Okay, so into THIEVUL immediately. Ooh, what are we doing? Why are we staying in this matchup? Okay, so they have super effective Powder Snow and either Icicle Spear or Avalanche, and your Poison Stings are resisted. You Earthquake's neutral, Stone Edge is neutral, but Sludge Bomb is resisted. You let the first go, you go for a Earthquake, and you grab a shield, but I would have just gotten out of this matchup immediately into your THIEVUL. Because one Icicle Spear, even though they'll be able to outpace, will not be enough to KO. And now they've grabbed a shield from you. Because you shielded in that matchup after coming in, which is interesting, but maybe just trying to match shields. But now they're going to play to the CMP tie with your next Night Slash, which is a nice play. I would have let that go. I think you would have lived on literally like 1 HP again, and at least just try to grab this shield back, or at least grab shield advantage, I mean. But either way, they come back with a Pillow-Swine. You flip switch at this point, but what are you really going to do here? Because when you get the boost and you instantly get up, can I get the farm down? Wow, great counting by your opponent. They threw right before you got to that Sludge Bomb, getting off the Icicle Spear, but you got the boost, which is unfortunate. So now you're just going to come in with THIEVUL, just going to sacrifice it, force them to throw their energy. They should be energy dry pretty much at this point, so just going to come in with the Malamar, try and go for the Psywave farm down, and it's a Jellicent in the back. Your absolute saving grace that it is a Ghost type in the back. They will be able to connect with a Shadow Ball, and now all you have to do is basically farm up to back-to-back moves, or right before they get to the next surf, because I believe they banked a charge move on their Piloswine actually. So as long as they don't get one turn lag, which they don't, unfortunately you are going to lose this game. Icicle Spear is enough to KO for that range, and by 1 HP you lose that game. You know, if they were at exactly 1 HP, you should have been able to get the Psywave through before they were able to get that charge move off, but maybe they were at 2. So just kind of unfortunate there. Neutral lead in the next match, but Dragonite oftentimes has a Azumarill in the back, so I would get out of this matchup and try and bank it. Maybe come in with the Malamar, because Malamar wins the 2s, and you overfarm here, which means you're forced to use a shield, so you already have given up that situation. And they're definitely just going to go for the full farm down, and now if you have a fairy in the back, you're screwed, because you stayed in this matchup way too long. If you're going to run ABB, you kind of need to get into one of these back 2 Pokemon earlier, because now if they have a fairy, you're truly screwed. But fortunately, it's just a Sand Slash. You get some terrible frame rate lag, which is very unfortunate. I'm very sorry. And you get the boost, which is nice. This is the non-shadow, so you probably will live this. And you might be able to make it to another Night Slash, and you do. And this is boosted. We saw the boost come through. So THIEVUL might absolutely run away with this game. If they come in with a Dragonite, they're going to get Sucker Punch down. No, they're going to get the Dragon Breath down, but that allows you to get an energy lead on your Malamar. And what is in the back? It's a Jellicent. Okay, so that's also a very common line. The Dragonite, Jellicent, Sand Slash, the line I'm currently running right now, like perfectly counters that line, which is pretty crazy. You make a little bit of a risky play switching into the Clodsire, and your opponent plays to their 1 win con of getting the full farm down, but they do not get there. You get to the Earthquake, and you are able to take that win. All right, into the last match. Great lead. They're probably going to get out of this matchup, and they do in a Grumpig. Okay, so THIEVUL seems like an obvious choice, but they have super effective coverage. 1 Dynamic Punch probably doesn't take you out, so I would have let that go. They never have an ability to farm you down, because Psywaves are double resisted, and they've done everything that they need to. They've baited out a Dark type. They've grabbed a shield, and now they have a fighter in the back, which can basically just take care of you. Fortunately, you have the Malamar. I would have originally suggested that you come Malamar into the Grumpig matchup, because that's a lot better of a matchup. But then you would have had to put THIEVUL on Jumpluff and Clodsire on the Machamp, so I guess that would have been a little bit awkward in the end. But your opponent kind of built their team a little bit strangely. But either way, you have managed to keep alignment here. They are on Acrobatics on the Jumpluff, but it's the non-shadow, so it looks like you can live 2, and they don't, once again, they don't have an ability to farm down, because Berry Wind is resisted here, and so is Cross Chop. So, I mean, Cross Chop does a little bit more damage, but it's really not going to do much in the grand scheme of things. And these Poison Stings are already adding up. Once you grab this shield, you've pretty much won this game. And they let that go, so they're playing to their win con of Machamp, but they have to get to 2 charge moves here against the Malamar, and they don't, so you're able to take that win. Yeah, overall super cool showcase. I love THIEVUL. I love Pokemon. I think it's a really cool Pokemon, and I think it's honestly way underrated for how good it is. If you get a boost on this thing, it is truly incredible. To me, it feels like a better Low Kicks, because its pacing is better. You don't have a guaranteed boost, but a potential boost is honestly more fun, and it's a double boost at that. So, and yeah, team building wise, I think the team building is fine. It's very strong. Obviously, there was a couple plays that I would have done a little bit differently that I mentioned during the battles, but overall, very strong showcase. Your counting was on point. Your fast move timing looked good. You clearly understood the matchups. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, peace.